What's going on there, folks? Good afternoon. The Earth Master here on this beautiful Sunday, May 29th, 2022 date, Memorial Day weekend. Got Memorial Day coming up tomorrow. Quite a few folks have that third day off. It's about 1:39 p.m. California time, West Coast. Showing some activity there on the Aliyah Permanent Station on the seismograph. That's been pretty active throughout the majority of the night. Also some activity showing up into Southern California. A couple small microquakes on both of those stations. Also here in the Northern California area, I've been watching a couple earthquakes here on the Petrolia station. That's a live seismograph station south of Eureka, California, southern end of the Cascadia, showing a little bit of activity as well. A couple small microquakes. Latest quake on the globe shows a 1.4 into the area of Alaska. Notice a 3.5 off the coast of Oregon. Let's go ahead and check out some activity happening around the map over the last 24 hours. There we go. Some movement, like I mentioned there, 3.5, well off the coast of Oregon into the, looks like just on the southern end here of the Blanco fracture zone. It is out around the Gorda Ridges, but on the Pacific side of this plate boundary, 3.5 at 10 kilometers. As far as any general earthquake activity in the Northern California area, I'm not seeing any of those spikes that I was looking at as far as the magnitudes showing up here on the map. So a little bit of microquake activity, but nothing really being reported once again here in the Northern California area. The 2.5 and above map shows a little increase in activity. It seems like it's starting up here off the coast, working its way down along the coastline here. There is a swarm of activity kicking up here along the Middle America Trench. So I think we have a little heightened activity about ready to possibly kick up here along the western part of the United States. Looking at the all magnitudes map here, seeing some activity in the Baja California regions, south of Tijuana, and a little cluster of swarming along the San Jacinto Fault area. That's normally a good indicator of some pressure building up out here in the Southern California region. 1.4 near the Pear Blossom, California area. That's just to the west of the San Andreas Fault. Far as Pacific activity on the San Andreas, there's not a whole lot. Seen a couple small microquakes just on the North American side of the plate boundary, and one earthquake down here along the Brawley seismic zone. That's at the Salton Sea area. But aside from that, not a whole lot of swarming going on there in Southern California. About the same here for the eastern part of the Sierra Nevada Ridgecrest area, not filling in too much, at 1.1 within the last hour. Aside from that, man, pretty a little quiet here along the eastern edge, but that should change here pretty soon. Right around Tonopah, getting low activity as well within that fracture zone across the Candelaria Hills. Let's see what else we got into the Pacific Northwest. Some movement south of Portland, and a couple spotty earthquakes there being reported throughout the Washington region. But we all know there's a little bit more activity kicking up there. We'll check out the seismographs here in a little bit. I want to check out the rest of the country here. Not a whole lot showing up here through Yellowstone, at least on the map. Same for about the Oklahoma area and western Texas. Only a couple spotty 2s and a 3 up here around the Quinton, Oklahoma area. New Madrid zone within this region of the country looks pretty quiet for now. Low activity east of there into the Appalachian Mountains around North Carolina and Tennessee, where we're seeing a 2.3 and a 1.8. Notice a 2.3 pretty deep here at 25 kilometers into the Tennessee area. There's all the activity kicking up here around the Middle America Trench, Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, all showing activity stretching up here and down the Middle America Trench. For now, only a couple 4s. But there is definitely some broad movement here along this trench area. Got to watch that pretty closely for some subsequent larger movement. This activity here around the Puerto Rico Trench was from last night. Seen a couple 4s kick off here. Since then, not a whole lot of renewed activity along the Puerto Rico Trench. Most of the swarming is around the southwestern edge of Puerto Rico. South America, nothing showing up here on the USGS map. Check out the EMSC in just a little bit to see if we got any 3s kicking up in that region, which I'm sure we do. Around Tonga and the Kermadec Trench, all seeing some activity overnight. Latest quake within this vicinity, a 4.6 at 302 kilometers here into the Tonga region. It's a pretty deep earthquake. No subsequent movement, though, following that activity yet. One earthquake here around the Japan area. This was late last night, kind of kicking off here. We've seen that movement kick up. Although USGS only showing one earthquake during that time frame, right about midnight my time when the stream went down. But EMSC was shown I think a 4.9 and a 4.2. But USGS only showing one earthquake from that little movement last night there off the coast of Japan. Since then, we haven't seen anything, folks. It's very quiet along the western portion here of the Pacific Plate and areas further to the west. Look at that. Nothing showing up in the 4.0 threshold across the Mediterranean, Middle East, China, Myanmar area, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, all quiet. So a little bit of concern possibly with this building up here along the plate boundary. Includes the United States and down south here through this Middle America Trench. So we'll watch that pretty closely today. Around the Big Island, seeing activity really ramp up. This is another area we were watching on the seismographs last night, seeing quite a bit of swarming kicking up here around the Pahala area. This activity has been ongoing for quite a while, since about the 1960s or so. Covered that a little bit last night in some detail. But aside from any specific movement out here, aside from that, looks about the same. Some activity around Kilauea Volcano and areas around the just north of the Helena Slump region. Let me check out the HVO real quick. Stand by for just a second. We'll check out the HAND system, which is the hazard notification system here for volcanoes put out by the USGS. Looks like nothing put out for let's go to Hawaii. There we go, 529 Kilauea daily update. Looks like the eruption still at the Kilauea volcano continues. Over the past 24 hours, all recent lava activity has been confined to the crater, and current data indicate that this scenario is likely to continue. Let's see here. Active lava lake has shown continuous surface activity, with lake level remaining relatively high. Looks like some minor fluctuations in level. Lava ooze-out activity continues with nearly continuous ooze-outs along the western and the northwestern edge of the lava lake. This bed has been fused since the beginning of this eruption on September 29, 2021. Summit tilt meters return to long-term trends. No unusual activity there in the east rift zones. So looks like about the same updates as they normally put out. No major no changes, I should say, to report there at the volcanoes in Hawaii. We'll check out tremor here in just a minute. I want to go back here to the USGS map. There's activity in Hawaii. Alaska still showing some movement up here. Quite a bit of movement around the Cook Inlet north through Anchorage area. Bunch of microquakes, that is. Nothing major going on. But man, aside from that, I think pretty good area to watch right now is this little region around the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and then all this activity up and down the west coast. I think that's might be leading to something. Tremor activity yesterday. Make sure I got the right. Yep. We don't have today's out yet. Showed 630 epicenters of tremor into the Cascadia subduction zone. Still a continual number of some pretty large uptick over the last week or so. Check out Mount St. Helens, see if any of this is affecting the volcanoes up here through the Cascades, which I believe it has. Or as seismic activity goes, been watching kind of a swarm of small, very small microquakes kick off at the Mount St. Helens area. Although today doesn't look quite as active. There's a couple small microquakes here in Mount St. Helens, but not as what we've seen there in the previous days and weeks. So looks a little spotty today there at Mount St. Helens. And let's check out the Newberry volcano here in the Oregon region. Seismograph station there just around the north rim of the volcano itself. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, not a whole lot happening. These definitely don't look like any type of seismic events. Maybe right here a couple little bitty tiny ones, but man, looks pretty calm there at the Newberry volcano. Yellowstone National Park, the super volcano. No major earthquakes, no doom and gloom happening right now. Looks like maybe a couple small, very small microquakes here earlier, late last night. Looks like there's one well-defined one there on the map, but man, look at that. Not a whole lot going on there at Yellowstone either. Pretty calm. Sometimes get a little nervous when things are too calm. Let's see what else we got. Earthquakes Canada. I don't think I checked them last night. I meant to. Sometimes I forget. Looks like a lot of activity that was occurring here at the northern end of the Cascadia has since kind of died down a little bit. Only one earthquake in the purple circle off the village of Queen Charlotte region, BC, from a couple days ago at 1.4. So for the most part, nothing being reported here unless everyone's out for the Memorial Day weekend, but looks pretty clear. Not a whole lot happening there throughout the region. Let's see what else we have here. Check out earthquakes here from the CSEM EMSC model. These guys right here showing a little bit of activity, including a 4.6 earthquake here. Looks like around the Philippines area. I don't believe the USGS is showing that. Let me see here. Oh yeah, it looks like it just popped up here. 4.6 in the Philippines region, just outside of Manila. And I kind of like to compare these guys, right? Because we know there's earthquake activity. It looks like a couple fours here. Let's see, 529. Yeah, a couple. You guys see all those fours kicking up? Right around the Indonesia islands area. And USGS not showing any of that up here. So, all right. So it looks like there is some activity definitely kicking up here in the 4 range. Down through New Zealand as well. A couple fours kicking off along the Kermadec Trench. Let's see. It looks like maybe they reported one. That was from late last night, though. So looks like there may be another one down there. Along the South America region, let's go ahead and key in real quick, see what we got. There's definitely some, looks like some 2s and 3s kicking up in this area. Along our Peru Chile Trench region and up and down the Middle America Trench. That looks pretty heightened today in terms of significant movement in the low magnitude level for now, I should say. See what else we got here. One earthquake over here, it looks like coming up, a 4.4. Let's see if USGS is reporting. That kind of looks like it's right outside the Morocco area. Nothing showing up here in that area, but then again, it just came in. Looks like 2015 UTC time. So, well, it's been almost an hour, almost an hour, and that's a 4.4. So nothing showing up there from the USGS. So I think their preliminary data systems right now are kind of on certain levels. They may have it. Who knows what, keyed up pretty high. Maybe only show 5-pointers over here, 4-pointers along the Pacific coast. Who knows how it is. I'd like to see it one day myself to see what their how they figure out and how they set their preliminary earthquake data systems and far as sending it out to the catalogs go to be reported here onto the public platform. But one day, maybe one day we'll see that. I'd like to take a trip to the visit the USGS office here, see what their computer systems look like. Let's see what else we got. I think that's about it for earthquake activity. Solar weather, yeah, kind of disappointing in that region right now. Green across the board. Nothing really going on across the global D-layer absorption map. KP index is there in the very low range, right around 3. Looks like a little bit of activity kicking up here on the auroras with that KP index, although looking like their forecast here is calling for green conditions across the board, and that does not mean green in the sky. It means nada in the sky, but looks like the field though is opening up a little bit, allowing some wind speed in with those conditions. Looks like, let's see, speed still pretty elevated above the 500 range. And same with the temp, kind of a little bit of elevated levels there, kicking up, creating those conditions that we're seeing there on the KP index. So we'll see how this goes. You know, you can't really forecast all this stuff 100% correctly. Solar flare activity, there's not a whole lot going on. Got 3023 facing us, 3024. All these other ones are just kind of lollygagging around. That's about lollygagging. Do people still use that word? I guess I do. Aside from that, not a whole lot of development further on the eastern side of the sun here. Looks pretty, unfortunately, it looks pretty minimal. Maybe possibly here on the far distant side, maybe some development in the coming days, but man, it looks pretty minimal right now, folks, for solar weather activity. Alrighty, I'm gonna bounce out of here, and hope everyone enjoys their Memorial Day weekend. I know it's a little crazy out there with traffic and whatnot, and gas prices, obviously, but I'm gonna stay home. I have no plans to go anywhere, and I kind of like it like that. I like being safe behind my, you know, with my peace of mind behind my gate, and just kind of not out in the world, so to speak. It's just a little crazy out there right now. So there's some of that earthquake activity showing up in a pretty good cluster across the South America region. Look at those different levels of earthquake depths there. Pretty staggered and but deep at the same time. Alrighty, guys, we'll chat you a little bit later tonight with the update. We'll have Missy Mimi's on here. I believe she'll be here for the update tonight, and we'll see if we can't do a question and answer show. Some continued earthquake activity there at the Leah Permanent Station there in Hawaii. Like I say, they've been having a pretty good swarm of activity. And another spike on the Petrolia Station coming up. There's Solomon Islands, but Petrolia right here still showing some earthquake activity. It's been popping up here like maybe one every couple, actually. It seems like every hour. So just kind of watching, seeing how the day progresses. If anything, of course, happens here along the West Coast or anywhere in the world, we'll definitely jump on here with an update. All right, guys, we'll chat you a little bit later tonight. Have a good one. Peace out.